Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for March 26, 2014. Can I get a motion to approve our regular board minutes of March 10, 2014?
So moved.
Moved by Paul, seconded by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Steve, anyone here for public participation?
I did not see anybody sign in,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
Fantastic.
I knew you'd like that.
And I'll sign if you...
No.
We're gonna jump forward a little bit on our agenda, and we have John Incanasio here. He wants to speak about the incident that happened at the middle school during town meeting on November 18, 2013. John, welcome. We miss you here on the board, and the floor is all yours, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Dodo, and ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Selectmen, Tom Mullen, our good town, what are you?
I don't know. He's town council. I'm town administrator.
I know. It's my pleasure to be here this evening, and it's really an honor to come before you, to be able to extend my sincere appreciation and feelings that I have regarding the incident that happened on November 18th at the Galvin Middle School. When I was trying to finish up my presentation on the middle school periodic report and let the town know where we stand with that building project. It's moving along fast, and unfortunately, I couldn't finish my presentation because of a medical incident. And the chief of police held me down. He wouldn't let me get back up. He kept saying to me, "Stay down, John, we got the ambulance coming." And I was saying to him, "I'm okay, chief, let me up, I want to finish." And he says, "John, stay down." And the fire chief was right there with him, saying the same thing. The health nurse was there. And I was so fortunate that incident happened at the Galvin Middle School at a town meeting, because all of these wonderful people who knew what the hell they were doing, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, because I was trying to get up, and they administered to me, got me out of there in a chair, into an ambulance, and then, before you know it, the people in the ambulance had to work on me because I was undergoing a heart attack. And they administered CPR, got me to the hospital, and from there I went to Brigham and Women's Hospital, and they took care of me and put a stint in me. And as I said during my 75th birthday party, it's better to be seen than to be viewed. And I can honestly say that I'm here today being seen and not viewed because of the wonderful work of the Wakefield Fire Department, Police Department, and our town DPW director, he was there, and Ruth Clay, our head of the health department. So let me first recognize all of the people that I feel should be recognized. Chief Smith, who kept saying, "Stay down, John, don't get up." And Lieutenant Craig Calabrese, Officer Kevin Flynn, who currently is away at the Mass State Police Academy. Officer Matthew Chambers, and from the fire department, Lieutenant Sean Curran, firefighter Jonathan O'Brien, firefighter Gerald Sansonito, accident ambulance Philip Sykes, and I think there's one more. Paramedic Ryan Higgins, and his name's Scott on here. I don't know what that is, and this was submitted by Lieutenant Scott Robley. And I would ask those individuals to stand and be recognized, please. Those that are here. And let me say to you face to face, you did a great job. Although my ribs hurt for about 3 weeks afterwards. But somebody said we got a few more coming in. These three individuals, I believe, were out doing their daily duty. They were out on a fire call?
They were out, yes.
Yeah, okay. And it's sad to say that the Boston Fire Department lost 2 today. And it's just an indication of the risks that each and every one of these guys put their lives in every day and are willing to stand up and be called. So, let me say again, thank you. And I have a small token donation to give to the town, to the chairman of the selectmen. I understand that there's a grant that has been given to the town. I don't know, who's it from, Steve?
That's from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, State of Massachusetts.
Okay, and it's a matching grant,
Yes.
and I will make a token donation towards that matching grant in appreciation for them saving my life. Okay?
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you, John.
Really appreciate that.
It's only a token appreciation. I wish
Goes a long way.
I wish it was much larger, but again, I thank you for this opportunity to express my feelings and my gratitude for these men performing their duty with no questions asked. Just moved in and did what they had to do. And as a result, you still have me to contend with. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much
Cheers.
for being there. I want to open it up to the board if they have any comments back.
John, it's good to see you. That was a very scary
Good to be
night.
seen.
It was a very scary night for all of us sitting close by.
It really was.
We were very concerned. Trudy,
You were right there.
yeah, and I have to say, even in his diminished condition, John is as strong as a horse. He had my hand, and he felt like the grip of a 25-year-old kid instead of someone like John. But Trudy, I'm sure you're very happy and very appreciative too. It's good to see a smile on your face. And guys, a day like today says it all. You know, the police, the fire, they go out, they leave their families. You never know when that bell rings, where you're gonna wind up and what you're gonna be faced with, so, thank you for everything you do, and, great job, congratulations.
Anybody else?
Thank you. Just, it makes me proud on many different levels to have grown up in this community, to have known you for so many years, and to be represented and protected by such wonderful men and women. So thank you.
And it makes me proud also, especially after I see what happened today and yesterday with the fires, how dangerous your work is, and how you're always there to defend us. And I would like to say one more thing, John. Steve Mayo, I was beside you when that happened, and Steve Mayo was behind you.
I know he
And
was.
he's the one that caught you. Because I hate to think if you had fallen without him catching you to lay you down on that floor.
Well, it was Steve Mayo's chair.
Yeah, that's right.
He had brought a chair for me to sit on.
You didn't want to.
But
I know, and my wife was very upset because I didn't clean it sufficiently when I left the house, but it did its job.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, you were all great. Everybody that was there close by lent a hand to make sure that I was taken good care of, and I was. So, all I can say is thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate everything you did for me.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you coming in and doing this. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for everybody.
Well, I couldn't let another day go by, and I let quite a few, but I've been in and out of the hospital since then quite a bit, and this is the first chance that I got to stand up on my feet and be able to extend my appreciation.
Well, hopefully we'll have you for many more years,
So,
John.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
thank you, John.
Okay.
All right, getting back to our agenda. Steve, is anybody here for this proclamation?
No, there isn't, no.
So we're just gonna skip right over it, okay?
Absolutely, yep. I don't know, if someone wants to talk about it, maybe.
Personnel appointments, poll worker appointments. We're gonna need a vote for each person. Cindy L. McGrath, 59 Bennett Street, number 1, unenrolled deputy warden to precinct 3. So moved. Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Ian. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Diane M. Wood, 42 Jefferson Road, Democrat, teller to precinct 1. So moved. Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Phyllis. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Hareen McPhail, 27 Atwood Street, Democrat, deputy warden to precinct 7.
So moved.
Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Joan E. Green, 8 Ames Street, unenrolled, teller to precinct 4.
So moved.
Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Phyllis. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I had one more that came in, so I was gonna do it going around the table, but if we could do it now?
Do it now.
It's Craig Hess of 41 Grafton Street, unenrolled, for a teller in precinct 3.
So moved.
Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Phyllis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Thank you.
Steve, is Mr. Majori gonna do
No, he's all set.
he's all set, right? Okay, so we're good.
Yep.
All right. There is a request from the Traffic Advisory Committee regarding Cedar Street, Prospect Street intersection. This is gonna be tabled.
Yes, until April 28th,
Can I get a
because of
motion
the
to table this
neighborhood.
matter to April 28th?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Paul, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Next matter on the agenda, the Wakefield Independence Day Committee. Stephen Daly and Patrick Sullivan.
Mr. Chairman, maybe while they're coming in, why don't we skip down to
We're gonna
the,
skip down, if you can get them, thank you. The referral to the planning board regarding May 2014 town meeting article, regulation of medical marijuana distribution. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ann, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Board approval of letter in support of the parking garage. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Pat,
Second.
second by Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. That was unanimous, by the way.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Everybody out there listening, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next matter on the agenda, discuss the deadline under the Brightview Purchase and Sale Agreement. Tom?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the purchase and sale agreement that was signed on January 27th this year had two deadlines that I'd like to ask you to consider extending by the amendment that's before you. First, there was a requirement that in Section 9 that the buyer would use its best efforts to obtain all governmental approvals, which shall include at a minimum, include filing applications therefore within 60 days after the date hereof. And that would mean by March 28. And the second deadline is that if the parties had not reached agreement on the development agreement and parking lease agreement within the same 60 days, then the purchase and sale agreement would be null and void. Of course, the referendum has thrown a monkey wrench into our timing here. So I've conferred with Attorney McGrail. His client will sign this extension, and I'd ask you to sign it as well. Basically, it extends both of those deadlines by a further 60 days.
Thank you, Tom. So can I get a motion to approve those two deadline extensions as per the purchase and sale agreement as dictated by Tom Mullen?
So moved.
Moved by
Second. Phyllis.
Phyllis, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
And I'd appreciate it if all the selectmen could sign the
Sign it
amendment.
tonight, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Wakefield Independence Day Committee. Stephen Daly and Patrick Sullivan.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This is
The floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you. Stephen Daly, the old guard of the parade committee, and there are a few behind me as well. Even though the leadership is changing, membership doesn't. All of our members are going to remain members of the committee. But we have nice new leadership here in Pat Sullivan, and he's put together a good group to continue with the WIDC tradition. We do want to thank Selectman Donaco for some excellent advice. The advice was, hang on to that money.
Yes.
And we did. So we're able to start off with some money in the bank, and it helps the new crew, and we'll be there to keep an eye on them. Pat Sullivan, new chairperson of the WIDC.
Town Administrator Mayo, members of the Board of Selectmen, and residents of the town of Wakefield, it's my pleasure to introduce myself to you today as the newly appointed chairman of the Wakefield Independence Day Committee. Over the past few months, I've been working very diligently with Steve Daly and Tommy Doran in order to facilitate a change of leadership in the parade committee, with the ultimate goal of reviving the Wakefield 4th of July parade next year in 2015. I've put together a new board of directors for the WIDC, and with the wisdom, experience, and guidance of the old committee, have executed an official change in leadership that was effective on the 16th day of March this month, consisting of myself as chairman, vice chairman David Sidebottom, secretary Marietta Schwartz, treasurer TJ White, Rick Robinson, Stephen Gates, Ryan McNeil, Paul Watts, and Aaron Gates. As a committee, we're continuing to work closely with Tom, Steve, and other members of the former committee, with many of them volunteering their time, services, and experience to work on next year's parade with us. We look to keep a strong relationship with Tony Medeiros and his committee in Bristol, Rhode Island, as well as an equally strong relationship with Tony DiCarlo and Drum Corps International. The WIDC will be kicking off its Bring Back the Parade campaign with a continuation of the annual carnival this April school vacation at the Galvin Middle School parking lot. Further information on the 4th of July parade can be found at the carnival or on Facebook by liking the Wakefield 4th of July parade on Facebook. The website right now is currently under construction and should be hopefully back sometime in the near future. I know I speak not only for myself but for the committee as a whole when I say that I'm truly excited about bringing this parade back to the streets of Wakefield, and I look forward to working with the members and residents of all of the committees in Wakefield and of the town of Wakefield to make our dream a reality. In 2015, our parade will be back, and it'll be better than ever.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Daly, for coming here. I first want to say that, God bless you for taking on this endeavor. It's a lot of work from what I gather and understand, and it's a tradition in this town, and I think that taking the bull by the horns and getting this committee together to keep this tradition going is is commendable, so, congratulations, thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
open up to the board if anybody else wants to say. Pat?
Yeah, Patrick, congratulations, this is great. I'm excited that you're gonna take this over. It's in very good hands because there's at least 1 or 2 Eagle Scouts on that committee that you mentioned.
Correct.
So this ought to be a breeze for you guys.
Definitely
Congratulations.
helped having the experience.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, Ryan himself will do half the work.
Yes.
Congratulations. I'm excited to get this back going again. It's nice to have a young group of people getting involved, so.
Thank you.
Phyllis, do you want to speak first?
I am really thrilled that this is going to be happening again. I know the people in Wakefield will be so happy. You know, I hear about it all the time. Can we have it back? Can we do it back? And I know it's a big chore. I know it's a lot of work, but I think you'll get a lot of help. And I think I really think it's a great thing, and I certainly will do whatever I can to be of help.
Thank you.
Paul?
Congratulations on your new position.
Thank you.
I hope you do very well on bringing this back and having it come strong again in 2015. There's a lot of work behind planning any event, as most of us know. There are a lot of people out there that have approached various members of the board seeking to bring this back. Reach out to them, okay? Get them involved as well, too. There's many of them that were trying to do this other than yourself, but saw how immense it was and backed off a little bit. If there was that willingness to begin with, seek them out and bring them into the fold, they'll probably do the committee, a good service in performing well for the 15th. I wish you the best of luck. Anything we can do, let me know.
Thank you.
Hold on to that money.
I think the combination of fresh eyes, fresh voices with the old experience is the best way to proceed, and will make for a wonderful parade again. So congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
Keep the pig can out of Benjamin's.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming here, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to our budgets. Kevin Gill. Finance Committee budget?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Finance Committee budget, requesting level funding this year. Main expenses within this budget, the cost of the clerk and the personal services. Contractual services, the cost to print the town's recommendation book. And under sundry charges, the dues and membership line item, that's for the MMA membership. Total budget request is $9,860.
I got a motion. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. The next budget is,
Extra pay period?
Yeah.
okay? Wasn't- Yep,
He,
go ahead.
he doesn't want to sit through Rick's budget.
Was that
I
a
don't think
please?
Rick wants to either.
The next item is the extra pay period budget. When preparing the town's operating budgets under personal services, this line item is calculated at exactly 52 weeks every year, even though the actual number is slightly higher than that. Therefore, to make up this extra time, every 5 to 6 years when we were paying weekly salaries, we would need an extra pay period. Now that we are paying every other week, we need this extra pay period once every approximately 11 years. The last extra pay period was funding in fiscal 2009. We have one in fiscal 15. The next one will be in fiscal '26. This budget amount will show up under the unclassified section in the town's recommendation book. It's given out at town meeting. The budget request is $732,197, and we're requesting this funding to be from free cash.
I got a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Paul,
Second.
second by Phyllis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
And by the way, Kevin and I intend to be here in 2026 when it comes up again.
And with that,
You're
I'll
good.
turn it over to
All right.
Mr. Swenson.
Next budget on the agenda is the Department of Public Works. We have Mr. Rick Stinson.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
Nice to see you again.
We haven't started yet, it would not be nice to see any of us.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
How was yours, sir?
Thank you. I have with me Carol Antonelli, Business Operations Manager to my right, Chris Pierce, Buildings Manager to my left, and Mike Collins, our Town Engineer, in the back here, if you have any questions as I go through this. There are 4 budgets before you. There's tax budget, water, sewer, and snow and ice. The first budget is the tax budget, and the request is for, let me find it here, $4,268,678. The staffing in this budget is the same as this current year. It's at 70. It's still down from 2004 when it was at 79. The on the energy side, we use the 5-year averages for consumption, as you see in all the information that was provided. We switched 2 buildings over to natural gas, 5 Common and 11 Lafayette Street. So we have reduced our oil budget from 15,000 to 2,000. The only place that we use fuel now is for emergency generators. Have made some added some money for cemetery as we continue to make new improvements there. This is not for the new section there. This is for the existing section. We did a lot last year in terms of improvements with plantings and signage, and we're looking to continue those improvements as we go along. This budget hasn't been increased, was increased last year, but before that it hadn't been increased for probably 15 years. Training, you'll find all the training budgets have increased. This coming year, all individuals that have a hoisting license for backhoes and loaders are required to have CEUs. I've put in $50 per person because they don't come up all the time. They have to do it over a 2-year period. The actual cost right now for the course is $100 a person. We've made a number of adjustments for line items that were underfunded. You'll see that as you go through things like street sweeping, traffic line painting, a lot of the fleet maintenance items were all underfunded. We've made adjustments for those. One of the big things that we have done in this budget is we've added money for roadway improvements. This is probably one of the worst, and this is for patching and maintenance, not paving. But this year's probably been one of the worst years for all the communities around here, and if you go to New Hampshire or wherever, just between the cold temperatures, the rain that we did have in the winter, freeze thaw, we've just had a ton of problems that, and we're having trouble just trying to get to them all. So we've put in money here to bring in some contracted help to do repairs that are more extensive than what we normally would do. And we would also do a lot of the repairs ourselves in this budget. So some of the other areas you'll see increases in equipment maintenance, as I mentioned, building maintenance. The goose management program, we've added $2,000 for oiling eggs. We've had a lot of success last year with the dog program. We're gonna go one step farther this year. Park and forestry, we've added $5,000 for park and forestry. We don't have funding for when we take down large trees for the outside equipment and staff we bring in. We can take down most of the trees. There's probably a dozen a year that we need assistance with, and that runs about $1,200 per each time it happens. I've put in less than half of that to to cover some of those. And I mentioned those ones, I mentioned the natural gas, and with that, any questions you have?
We'll open it up to the board. Any questions, Pat?
Rick, on the highway, that's where you put the street repairs?
Yeah, it's in two areas. It's in professional services, and it's in materials and supplies.
Okay, so it's not under highway?
It is under highway, but
Under
there's
highway-
there's two sections of highway. Okay,
Street sweep.
which page number?
I don't see, well,
Right.
okay, maybe it's.
I'm looking at page 5.
Okay.
Which
On
page you on?
page 5, you'll find, under bituminous concrete in place, that was $5,000. We increased that to 30, so we added 25,000 there. And under, and that covers it in the materials and supplies, or in the professional services portion. Okay?
Okay.
So that's for outside contractors. If you go to page 8, we added $10,000 to the patching line item. We added $2,000 to sidewalk repair that we do, for the same reason the winter has really done a lot of damage. And we added $3,000 to drainage, and that's for purchasing materials for the drainage repairs we have to do.
Okay.
Paul?
Oh, in fact,
Rick, is that enough? You think you have enough money to handle the?
Probably not, but we're gonna see how far we get, you know? I mean, some of the, I think as everyone knows, some of the road damage that's out there is extensive. It's
I
real
mean,
bad.
For patching, it looks like in 2013, you spent 77,000.
Right,
2013 wasn't nearly as bad as this year,
correct.
and you only have 75,000
Yeah,
budget.
but a lot of the patching we'll have accomplished now, so, and hopefully it won't be as bad next
Yeah,
year.
but once you thaw out.
Yeah,
even if
now
you
I'm
thaw
trying
out-
to like balance things. I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul right now.
Rick, I have a quick question. I was reading an article regarding patching streets, and there's a company up in Manchester, New Hampshire, whose name escapes me, so I apologize. And I forget what the technique is that they use that makes the replacement of the patch work that they do pretty much a permanent fix, as opposed to just patching it like we do now, and then it gets loose again, and you know, it causes, have you explored any alternatives like that to?
We've tried some things in the past. Realistically, the best way to do it is to cut out around them
Right.
Okay.
That's exactly what this
and
this
patch them.
does,
The
right.
problem is the amount of time available and the amount of staff to do that. That's why everyone goes along and just fills them in. There is a process where, and we tried it one year, it didn't hold up very well. There's a piece of equipment out there that will come out, it'll spray the material into the pothole, and then they will go over it with the tires of the equipment to pack it in. It doesn't work that good.
Rick, would it be helpful to add some money? Would it make your job easier? Would it get more?
No,
My
not at all.
answer is yes.
I mean, what's more important than our streets? And we've been investing in our streets. It's a bad winter.
I know, it's a real
And
bad
the
winter.
streets need it.
Yeah.
And I don't think, if I thought we were being wasteful, I wouldn't even think of it, mentioning this, but I think we should add some money to that, to section 46, highway patching. Instead of 75, I'd say $100,000.
I wouldn't disagree. I would.
Steve?
Can I suggest that
of course you can.
you know what, there isn't a town department head that wouldn't come in to ask for more money. And to Rick's credit, he does the best that he can with what is available in the budget. I do believe that our roads are in needs, and every year we put extra money on top of Chapter 90, and we'll have an article to that effect shortly that we've been doing the last few years. Great thought. I'd ask you to hold it until maybe November town meeting, because we are, Kevin and I are struggling to make everything within the tax levy this year.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Rick, you think?
But I think it's a great
You can stretch some cold patch around town. I'm not gonna, try to upset the apple cart, but, I mean, at some point,
Yeah, when I get to
when people
chapter
start bottoming
92,
out.
when I get to chapter 90, we get to warrant articles
Yeah.
that talk about the roadway funding.
fine with me.
There's some things that I think are gonna happen this year that will make a big difference too, so.
Mr. Chairman, there is one area where we could achieve some economies. I think Rick mentioned the cost of line painting. I don't know if you've taken into account our local citizens who are pitching in on a volunteer basis.
Okay.
Very good.
I remove the motion.
Mr. Chairman, but I do agree with Selectman Glynn's proposal, though, that we should look into supporting a little bit more money when the time comes to make the repairs to all the work that Rick has done over the years in making our roads better, and not to let them go to neglect by the potholes and things like that. So I would be in favor of increasing come November, provided that there's money available. Thank you.
We could take it out of drainage, Paul.
No. No.
So the motion to approve the DPW budget for $4,268,678.
So moved.
Moved by Paul, second by Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Snow and ice?
Snow and ice, the request is for $650,000, an increase of $50,000. If you remember, we're trying to move up to, I should say the requested appropriation. The request is actually $1,138,979. We're trying to get to a number that's works better. That's not, I don't think we have to go to $1,138,000. We're probably looking to be in the $750,000 range, which is another $100,000 to go, and we've been building that up. You'll see information in the budget book that Snow and Ice had an increase for 20 years. It was kept at $185,000, and then another 10-year period it stayed at $250,000. So, and that is where we are at right now. We haven't reached, with the money that you added this year, which was $450,000, we are under, that is under what a normal winter would be. So that's $1,050,000. A normal winter this year was $1,067,000. And we're probably gonna, if it doesn't snow again, there's probably about 80 to 90,000 that will be left in that budget. So there's money left. So even though we had more snow and more snowstorms than we did, and more snow than an average winter and more events than last year, we're still under that. So staff did a great job of managing that, each storm, and getting the biggest bang for the buck.
Questions on the snow and ice?
Just, I think it's important that we keep it at a high level. You know, they keep talking about, it was a 100-year storm. We're getting those every 3 years. I mean, there's no such thing as a 100-year storm anymore. We're getting these events. So we need to be thoughtful and mindful of keeping that at a good point.
Absolutely. I support that.
Okay. So the motion is to approve the snow and ice budget as presented by DPW Director Rick Stinson. 1 million, is that right?
No, 600.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, I'd love 1 million.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the-
They keep going up and up.
650,000. I was looking at the wrong number.
It's a good thing Kevin didn't leave.
For 650,000. That's the motion.
So
So
moved.
Moved by Phyllis, second by
Second.
Ann, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Water.
The water budget. Water request is for $3,996,662. The salary increases in here are related to contractual steps and grades. We did add $5,000 to traffic control because of the number of water breaks we've been having and what we've been expending. We also have in this budget, which was not in what Kevin presented, was the 27th payroll. So the 27th payroll for water is in this budget. And that comes out to, geez, I don't even know what that number is, it's right. It was $34,002. The MWRA assessment is up a minimal amount, very small. There's an increase of $15,000 for materials required for water main breaks. Budget has minor adjustments for increasing cost and anticipated infrastructure maintenance. The water use fee. If the water use fee is up. Left his radio?
Yeah.
The water use fee is increased $17,700. The water use fee does, works in that we turn around and have properties in Wakefield that get their water from whether it be Stoneham, Reading, Melrose, and possibly their sewer. And we have to, in turn, we bill them, the money comes into us, but we have to pay those communities for that service. So it's not like we're paying out and getting nothing back, we do get money back. Because we've added the Bon Air area because of the low pressure, and we added the Windcrest area up at the old Nazareth Academy, that has resulted in the increase, along with the average normal increase in water rates. Request for an additional $17,700. The energy, and that's just for water. Energy cost is overall is down $2,186. So if you combine the electric and natural gas and professional services with the vehicle fuel and the materials and supplies budget, the total comes out to a negative $2,186. And then maturing debt has decreased $31,346. And Schedule 7, normally the numbers aren't in here. Those come in later. This year, the numbers for Schedule 7 line items are in here, are in this budget.
Questions? So can I get a motion to approve the budget for the water enterprise for as requested, $3,991,000.
96.
96.
$3,996.
$662.
$662.
Sorry, my apologies.
So moved.
Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Jan. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. And next matter is the sewer enterprise.
Sewer enterprise, the request is for $7,216,677. Salary is the same thing, contractual steps and grades have what has increased this, and the 27th payroll, which has been added here, and the amount for that is $24,226. The MWRA assessment is up a very minimal amount, especially when you look at it on a percentage basis. It's about $25,000. These are the lowest, on both water and sewer, these are the lowest percentages we've had in, gotta be 15 years. I mean, they're extremely low, and I don't think we'll see that again, but this is a very good year. I can't even write a bad letter to him, unfortunately.
By the way, I'm going to interrupt, Mr. Chairman. We're going to give all the credit to Carol
Absolutely.
on that one.
No, because then I get it when it's bad.
Carol paid me to say that.
I know.
Energy cost is up $3,400, and it's all based on 5-year averages. And also, one of the other things in this budget, we added 2 new sewer pumping stations at Landing and Field, so we had to account for that.
Rick, is that why your purchase of services is up so high?
No, the 3,400 is a combination of, the purchase of services is up, and I'll get to that, is because of the sewer use fee,
It's 36,000.
which is up 26,500.
You get an increase of 36,819. It looks
Where,
like
what are you looking at?
item 2 in the sewer budget. Right under personal services.
Right, the total, right. But of that, the biggest increase
I see.
is the sewer use fee,
Okay.
okay?
Is that to the MWRA?
No, that's what, same as the water use fee.
Right.
Sewer use fees for the other communities, which we
Okay.
pay to either Stoneham, Reading, or Melrose. And that's $26,500. The maturing debt's down $1,735. Same thing here, we have training, we had both water and sewer training, CEUs required for employees with hoisting licenses. Been minor adjustments in the budget, and the Schedule 7 numbers have been adjusted for this budget. And vehicle maintenance between both materials and supplies and professional services is up about $8,000 for some work that we need to do this year. We've had some issues that we have to address to keep vehicles on the road that, we're lucky up to a point, so.
Questions, anyone? Can I get a motion to approve the sewer enterprise budget for $7,216,677?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Phil, second by Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. I think that does it.
Oh, no, warrant articles.
Oh, sorry. You're here for the warrant articles. You wanna stay? All right, the warrant articles, Department of Public Works. Rick, are you gonna discuss any of these items?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Eminent domain is for $1 and is annual article, whenever we have to take an easement for infrastructure improvements.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the eminent domain warrant article for $1? Moved by Paul,
Second.
second by Ian, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Refuse, recycling, yard waste.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you some sheets here. And the one that we'll kind of talk about the most is this one that's the shortest one. Let me just grab one of each. Here you go. Can you pass it over to Chris? First, there's a change in the appropriation request. I think the request that you have before you was for $1,567,000 and change. This new request is for $1,554,230. And I'll explain why that went down. The request that's before you utilizes the lower cost for automated refuse collection and single stream recycling. It also includes, we've renegotiated with our disposal site for refuse. Our current tipping fee is $63.58 a ton. Next year, it was estimated to go to $65.49 a ton. We will be, with the renegotiation, at $62.58 a ton. So we'll save $1.08 per ton based on this year's cost. And we have one of the lower rates around for a tipping fee for our community, which is, and Reading and Melrose and Saugus Stoneham all join with us to work on this, and they also have the same rates. What I've given you is the standard breakdown of all the items, and that's that long list right here. You can look at that. If you have any questions, let me know on that. I also gave you the one when we did the presentation on the automated collection. I gave you that sheet back. And the reason I did that is if you look at the one that you adopted and I circled in red, or down the bottom, when I presented that to you at the time, it said we would save $404,000 estimated. It's now $410,000 because we've been continuing to negotiate with the haulers to get that down. The small sheet, which has some numbers on there, and the important column is in FY14, our real request, we have two numbers that you'll see on that long sheet, okay? So on this long sheet, you'll see two numbers. One is what the request should be, and one is what the request is after we look at a possible available balance. So every year, we look to see if we'll have any money left over, and we take an estimate. So last year, we had an available balance going into this year of $80,000. Next year, that won't be as high. Going into next fiscal year, it'll be $45,000. So when you look at the first column on the left, FY15, the budget would be, without an available balance, would be $1,599,231. And the request without an available balance for this year we're in was $1,692,557. So there is a difference from this current year to next year of $93,326 less. And that is with the new contracts for automated recycling, the tipping fee, a bunch of other changes, all coming about from the change in what we're gonna do. After you factor in the available balance, we will have, the numbers become for FY14, what we appropriated at town meeting was $1,612,557. And the request after the available balance was for this year, $1,554,230. Okay, that's where we are right now. We have made some minor adjustments in tonnages, with the rest of the adjustments to come as we move through the year. So the only place that number is gonna go is down, and it should go down quite a bit, okay? And that will be switching tonnage from refuse to recycling, and that avoidance tonnage we talked about before. Finally, the automated collection and refuse or recycling, single stream recycling, that will start on September 1st. We had hoped to do July 1st, but with getting all the contracts and stuff, we're looking to start, the big thing's the education, so we're looking to start September 1st with that.
Can I get a motion to approve the budget for refuse, recycling, yard waste for the warrant articles for $1,554,230?
So moved.
Moved by Paul, second by Pat. Discussion?
Just a quick question to you, sir. Between now and September, do you plan on having some sort of orientation for the public in regards to what to anticipate?
Sure.
I've been fielding too many phone
Yeah.
calls.
First of all, if you get any questions, we're calling everyone back. Please send them to us. We want to make sure we get all the right information out there. I know there's been one person who wrote stuff in the paper who personally has never talked to me and has a ton of information that's 1,000% incorrect. I will probably write one letter to the editor to address that, and then it'll be through our educational program. We will be doing a WCAT program, which I have to set up with Tom and we'll work out the details. We will have flyers. There'll be information in our next newsletter, which goes out in April. We'll be
Website?
at the senior center, the website, as many things as we can do, the newspaper. There will be a combination of press releases, but also actual advertising in there. We'll use the Wakefield magazine. And finally, there'll be a bunch of other things we do that we're gonna, when we go to the schools in June for the fourth grade program, we'll talk to all the kids then and give them information to bring home. So there'll be a lot of things we're gonna do.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
How about water and sewer bills, would you put anything in?
That'll be the
as well?
newsletter, but
Newsletter,
also
part of that.
advertising too, yeah.
Okay. So the motion was moved by Paul, seconded by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Stormwater.
Stormwater, this is become an annual article, and I don't think it'll go away. I think the only place that this will go is up in the future. The request is for $100,000 for the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, which is called NEPDES. It is an unfunded federal mandate that communities all around us have to deal with. We have to provide education, we have to address, do drainage system investigation, mapping, removal of illicit discharges, drainage outfall sampling and analysis. There's a whole bunch of things. And the new permit, which has been coming out for about 5 years and still has not come out yet, when that does, there will be even stricter requirements in there, which I think will in the future bump this number up considerably. We have not seen a draft permit for Mass. What we've been looking at is the New Hampshire one, which is not pleasant, but I wish they'd actually push it off a few years. So the request is for $100,000. Mike Collins pretty much runs this program out of engineering, and it is a lot of work to do to meet the requirements. And if we don't do it, two things that will happen. We'll get fined more than what this is costing us, and we'll be dealing with that for quite some time.
Move approval. Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Paul. Discussion, anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Sewer station replacement, there's 3 of them. Rick?
Yes, the request is for $815,000. We now have 11 pumping stations. 2 are brand new, 4 we have rebuilt. There are 5 remaining. And I'll give them to you. Spalding Street, which is a 1940 station, 75 years old. Lakeview Avenue, 1971, is 43 years old. Bay State Road, 1975, 39 years old. Plaza Road, 1968, 46 years old. And Finley Street, 1983, 31 years old. The average life probably for a pumping station is, before you rehab it, a major overhaul, is probably 30 years. And you can see we've kept these going for a lot longer than that. We've just recently, previously we had done a report about 6-7 years ago on prioritizing and what we should do with the station. We just updated that report about a month ago, and they've prioritized 3 stations, Spalding Street, Lakeview Avenue, and Plaza Road. And there's some benefits to doing 3 all at once. There is a reduction from 15% to 10% for design. There's a reduction in the construction contingency from 15% to 10%. There's mobilization cost reduction. So we'll save some money by doing that. It's not just to do 3 stations at once, but it's really to save some money in doing all that. This will come out of the sewer enterprise reserve account, so it will not impact the sewer rate. So there's no impact there. And then if there was sufficient money next year, when we get to FY16, we would be possibly looking to do Bay State Road and Finley Street, and we would be all done and be in good shape for quite a few number of years.
Very good.
Can I get a motion to approve the budget for the warrant articles for the sewer station replacement, 3 of them for $815,000?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Paul, second by Ann.
Phyllis.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Water main improvements.
Request is for $500,000. The program began in 1992, and we've funded it, in the last 15 years, we've only funded it 8 of those years. Up until that time period was funded every year, or up until 2001. Most of the mains are 70-plus years old. There's corrosion, tuberculation in them, reduced capacity, reduced water pressure. Obviously, with this winter, we've had a number of breaks this year. We held off for a number of years of doing water main replacement because we did the treatment plant. We did the tank rehabilitation, a big project, 2 booster stations, and the meter program. So we couldn't afford to continue with the main replacement. So this year, we're looking to Again, we did some money last year, we're looking to do some more. Foundry Street is, we're gonna be doing next year, and that was, Mike, how much?
It was close to
$500,000. So that's just one street alone with all the gates and everything. We'll eat that up. We have money from this year left, and we're gonna do some smaller streets.
Rick, are you timing these water main improvements with the repaving of streets?
Yes.
So, 'cause, and, I'm not gonna get into the gas and light now, but the streets are a mess.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm glad to hear that you're coordinating that, that's great.
Taking a motion to approve the warrant article for the water main improvements budget for $500,000.
So moved.
Moved by Paul,
Second.
second by Ann, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Shade trees.
Shade tree request is for $15,000. This has been an article that's been ongoing since 1991. The only years that we did not fund this was 2003 to 2006.
Motion to approve $15,000 for the shade trees.
So moved.
Moved by Paul,
Second.
second by Pat. Discussion.
Rick, just a quick question. Over the past year, the town has removed branches from certain areas because of wiring and storms and safety issues. It's been brought to my attention on a couple of the streets that the residents had to remove the trees because they in turn had so much removed from them, they died. How do we compensate the people in that case?
Well, most of the work that's been done related to wires and utility poles is being done under the municipal light department.
Okay,
So if there is a tree, if someone did lose a tree that they had to take down, let me know, and then we'll sit down and talk with the light department, and we'll look at that and see.
so there is an avenue for these people.
Well, I'll have to talk to them, but we'll be glad to talk to them. yeah.
Excellent, okay, thank you.
Phyllis?
Do we need to use $15,000 every year for shade trees?
Well,
Do the shade trees?
I can tell you that over the past, 9 years, we have taken down 779 trees. We have planted 327 trees,
Where are we taking these trees down from?
all over town. And they're all public shade trees, there are no private trees there, they're all public shade trees. So we've removed 779 trees. This year alone, we removed 88 trees, which is down from previous years. And we planted 22 trees. We can plant more, it all depends on the size of the tree that we're putting in, and what's involved in putting it in. Like, this year, we took down the 2 big trees at the Hartshorn House.
That's right.
And we put 2 trees back there. Most times, they go back where they were before, but not always. But we take down more than we ever put back up. You know, and one thing about shade trees, if anything is gonna create a healthy environment for the community, it's shade trees.
Water is, as far as drainage concerns as well.
It helps drainage, it turns around and just helps your overall environment for everything.
Do you call shade trees, I'll take my street, Indian Hill Road,
Yep,
what are those, maple, those trees that are along the sidewalks?
those
Those
are
are
shade
shade trees?
correct,
And you actually think they help the environment?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, when those shade trees drop all their leaves that come over to my property, can I get the town to come over and clean them up?
Welcome to New England.
Welcome to Wakefield.
To any time.
I wasn't talking about the leaves, I was only talking about the environment.
Send the bill to my landscaper, to you.
All right, so the motion was made by Paul, second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Public shade tree spraying program.
The request is for $20,000. This is the 6th year of this program. Originally, it was gonna be a 4-year program. We were gonna stop and then continue on. We made a decision last year to continue. This year, we're recommending we continue. What is interesting is when you look at the numbers, this year, in the past, since 2007, we've taken down 4 of those years over 100 trees. And every other year, it's been in the mid-90 range. This year, we were down to 88 trees. So I think you're starting to see some benefits for that program, so we'd like to continue that.
So
Discussion?
Second?
Moved by Pat, second by Paul. Discussion, anyone? All in favor to approve the public shade tree spraying program, $20,000 budget for the warrant articles?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Roadway improvements.
Request is for $200,000. As I explain every year, we need to pave we have 90 miles of public road. We need to pave 6 miles per year to stay even. The average cost per mile is $292,000, which is a total to do all that of $1,752,000. Now the interesting part. We have been receiving past 3 or 4 years, $680,000 in Chapter 90 money. In the last 2 years, we've added $200,000 to that. So we're still well underfunded for roadway paving. Last year, we were supposed to receive in Chapter 90 a little over $1 million because the governor's fighting with the legislature. That money actually ended up less than what we had the year before. We went from $680,000 down to $677,000. Not a big drop, but still a drop. This year, we're supposed to get a little over $1 million again, but even with the $1 million and the $200,000, we're still underfunded from what we need, and we probably have a 20-year backlog. Okay. In terms of paving, we try to line up all of our roadway paving with municipal light and gas work, so we don't go in and do it and they tear it up. And we work at it every year. It's a challenge.
It's an arduous task.
This year, we're hoping that there's 4 big projects on the list, plus a lot of smaller projects, but the big ones are Oak Street, which really needs to be done. North Avenue, National Grid has done their main, the light department's finished what they had to do, so we can do North Ave up until, we'll go from 128 up until Church Street. And maybe, the problem is National Grid has to go farther up North Ave, so I don't know if we'll go farther than Church. Salem Street from Main Street to the railroad tracks. Greenwood Street from Main Street to Spring. And then we're gonna see, I'm hoping that there's a section on Main Street that we wanna do all of Main Street around the lake. They need to do gas work from Carriage Estates down to Salem Street. They're not gonna do all of that this year. I'm hoping they will get to Central Ave, and then we'll pave from Lowell down to Central Ave. We'll pave Main Street down to there. Okay. But I need them to finish some work for that.
Discussion?
Rick, Vernon Street, we get a lot of questions on
Vernon Street is,
Gas work.
I'm waiting for the gas
Yeah.
department. Yeah. We have about 40 streets we talk about every year, so if you have a question, I can probably,
The gas and light, they're still replacing gas mains that were waterlogged.
They're waiting for the gas.
they have some, my understanding, that are waterlogged. There's 3 levels of leaks, and I always get it confused which way it goes. But anyways, the one leak they can leave and they just monitor. Second leak, they need to address pretty quickly, and the 3rd level, they need to do immediately. They also have to replace steel main so much per year. And they continue to work on that to put in plastic, but they have an awful lot to do, and a lot of times, depending on the number of leaks, their work doesn't line up with what we want to do for paving. And it's a question of money.
All right, so the motion would be to approve the $200,000 roadway improvements budget for the warrant articles.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Phyllis, second by Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. New sidewalks, Rick.
Request is for $50,000. This article was funded annually from 95 to 2002. There was no funding from 2003 to 2012. It's been funded as high as $100,000 a year. The last 2 years, we funded $50,000 each year. And we have a section on Salem Street that we're going to address that goes from where the state project left off to Chapman Road, and then we want to move up to the intersection with Lowell Street. And then we have a section on Vernon Street. There's a bunch of broken up sections in there that we want to piece in. We have some broken up sections on Elm Street, so we want to fill in those spots that are missing sidewalks, and a number of others around town too. We end up with a list every year, and we prioritize those based on where school kids walk, and where the broken up sections are.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Paul, to approve the $50,000 budget for the warrant articles for new sidewalks. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Betterments, Central Ave and Highland Ave.
Central Avenue, the request is for $62,075, and it would be a borrow. There are 8 abutters on this street, and actually, Chris, where's that? Let's see, pass that out. 5 of the 8 abutters are in favor. And I know that you, at one point, not everyone here, but the board made a decision that they did not want to go forward unless everyone was in favor of the entire project. We had a majority who were interested, so they, we still have to bring it forward to you, and do you have to hold a hearing, or I don't know, Tom? Do they have to
Hearing?
hold a
No.
hearing? No. So, but we are bringing this forward, but not everyone is in favor of this project. And I'll give you a list here. Which one? That's Highland. Okay, take this, Chris. That's one of those, and one of these. And you'll have the whole package here. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, give me one of those.
This is what happened on
Okay.
Fairmont Ave. Remember Fairmont Ave? Don't do it. We don't do it.
Out of the 8, as I said, 3 are not in favor. There's also a discrepancy here. Some want to do equal shares, some want to do it by frontage. So there's even discrepancy within, when you look at that. Chris has given you a sheet that has some color on it as you look inside. The 3 people listed there in pink are not in favor of the project. If the project was done, it shows how they would split it out. And then the yellow are those who are in favor of the project. The other package shows you some pictures of the street and the condition it's in.
Rick, how's it gonna impact them financially? How's it broken up over, or amortized over a certain period of
Okay,
time?
when you look at that sheet with the pink and the small package with the pink and yellow on it, if you break it up by, it gives you the total amount for each person. And then it breaks it down in terms of what it would cost for frontage over a 20-year period each year. And what each homeowner would pay. And it also gives you what equal shares would be, although we didn't list it all the way down. So it comes out to, if you did equal shares for everyone, it's $622.64. If you do it by frontage, it varies depending on their frontage. And it goes from $511.98, up to one person has $1,126.39.
Have the three people that haven't agreed to this, have they given you reasons why, Rick?
What you end up having happening, and we have a meeting with the residents, we'll bring them in and we'll give them the information. Also, the advisory board of public works will look at this, and make a decision on it. But their decision was not knowing at the time who was in favor, who was not. There's one person on the corner who has frontage on the road, the side of their property is on the road, so they don't have a lot of use for the street. They are opposed. Some people financially just can't afford to do it.
I don't know how to put this question. Are the people that are opposed, are they older people? Do you know?
I
who-
don't
You don't know? I'm just trying to think if
Person
they're
by
on
person,
if they're on a limited budget.
Yeah, staff
I-
person in engineering does, because he's been talking with them all. I'm not sure.
Questions, anyone?
We always run into an issue, it seems, though, whenever we try to do a betterment on a street, whether or not the entire street supports it, or the entire, some don't support it. And it seems that every time that we have that not full support, there's always, a hard decision to make. You stated that at the beginning, before this all started, that we asked for a unanimous decision to be had from the people on the street. Evidently, it's not there. Even the way it is split is
It's not there.
either. So 4 of them want it one way, 3 of them want it another way, 3 of them don't want it at all. And it's hard to impose a hardship on the ones that can't really afford it.
And my recommendation, if you wanted to hear from them, is to have a hearing with them at one of the meetings before town meeting, but that's, I don't know if it would change. I don't think it's gonna change from that point.
Mr. Chairman, through you, please. Mr. Mayo, on this, do you have any input on the matter? For
Well, exactly what you've said. When it's not unanimous, and we have a person on a corner here, then that's always a long discussion. I think that this, previous boards adopted, they don't want to move forward if it's not unanimous on the street.
Thank you, sir.
That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, I have an issue with it as well, especially if they can't afford, we don't know the particulars of everybody's situation. So, there are obvious reasons, obviously, the man on the corner, limited use of the street, so he probably feels that he doesn't need it, so why should he incur the cost? And then you got 2 other people that, for whatever reason, don't want it, so.
And we do explore too, if they're willing to exempt somebody from participating. In this case, they weren't interested.
They were.
But streets have done that
Yeah.
in the past. That has happened.
And the next one
Yeah.
you'll get, they have agreed to do that.
Yeah.
So,
So, I guess the motion would be, well, I just want to poll everybody how they feel about this situation.
I would, my opinion right now, Mr. Chairman, is going to be that I would not vote in favor of the betterment.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you move to table it, and then they can come back in the future, maybe in the fall, if they get together?
All right, so I'll make the motion to table it till another time that they feel appropriate to come before this board to address it again, so.
So moved.
Moved by myself.
Second.
Second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. Highland Ave?
Highland Ave, it's a little easier. The request is for $107,575 by borrowing. There are 15 properties that abut Highland Avenue. 13 are participating. They have agreed to exclude the one at the end of the street, which has no access at all because of a hill. And they've agreed to exclude the person at the, as you come down the street or going up the street on the left-hand corner.
So basically, you have unanimous.
We have unanimous, yep.
With the people who want to
The
participate.
interesting thing, and I actually, Tom, I'll have to sit with you. So there are 13 abutters, one of which is a duplex house, so it's one property. So they want to divide the amount by 12. And the person with the duplex will split that in half. And they're all in agreement with that. So there are actually 12 shares here, not 13. Okay. And I can tell you, Tom has the write-up, it probably makes no sense at all, what I have here, so.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Okay. They want to do it in equal shares over a 20-year period.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the betterment on Highland Avenue for $107,575.
I'll second.
Moved by Pat, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Street acceptances.
Street acceptances, there are two, these are two streets that we brought before you before. And I believe, as we did with Carriage States Lane.
Carriage Lane?
Carriage Lane.
That, you sent that back to the planning board, but you didn't have to hold the hearing again. It is for Gates Lane, which is completed and in good shape, and Patriot Circle. This does a lot of benefits to accepting the street. For the residents, it's maintained by the DPW, which we won't have to do anything for quite a while. It increases our Chapter 90 funding, and it prevents DPW equipment when we plow and stuff by maintaining it from getting damaged. And homeowners are not liable if there's an injury in the street, and that's a big one.
Can I get a motion to approve the street acceptances for Patriot Circle and Gates Lane for $1 for the warrant articles?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Paul, second by Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Rick.
Very good.
Very good. You know what, you may want to ask a question about the schools. Oh, Mr. Chairman, I think that,
Phyllis, you have something?
yeah.
Yes, I was gonna, as long as Mr. Stinson is here, I'd like to ask this question. I was gonna do it in other, but because he's here, I think it would be, there's two questions that I would like to ask. First place, I attended that forum Monday night about the garage, and I had lots of people that I had brought with me, and I have to tell you, I was embarrassed at how dirty the doors were, the glass was. You walk in, the floors, maybe they're swept, but they're not clean. And I was also surprised at the maintenance of the new theater. It needs a cleaning in there too. Who is responsible for maintaining the cleanliness? You know, I don't want to be hearing next year, we need a new school because it's not maintained and all this. Our properties are not being maintained in there. Who is responsible for maintaining and keeping these schools clean and neat? Because they're not. They're in terrible condition.
We
And-
take care of the infrastructure maintenance. The
No.
school takes care of the cleaning.
Is there
So-
anything we can do about the maintenance, or making a change, or doing something about maintaining our properties, which are not being properly maintained?
What I'll do is have Chris talk with Peter Evangelista tomorrow about that.
I mean, it's terrible. I walked in, I haven't been up there for a long time, and as I brought these people in, the doors are all dirty, the glasses are dirty, the windows are dirty, the floors are swept, but they don't look like they're ever clean, and it looks like it's that everywhere. And something has to be done about this situation. So, as long as you're here.
We'll mention it to the school department.
Okay, thank you.
I think it can go from school to school too, because there's some I've been in that I think are very clean, and then others I notice, as you said, but some are, sparkling, they look clean, they look fresh. And so it probably is who is doing it from school to school.
Well-
So a conversation with Peter Evangelista makes a lot of sense.
I think the newer schools have kept clean, but I remember being on a committee, and I will tell you, the Greenwood School, the way that school was maintained was sinful. I wouldn't want my child to go downstairs into those bathrooms. So, and I hope we stop maintaining and doing a better job over there too.
My kid goes to the pre.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
And on
wouldn't
that, and
want,
on that note,
I wouldn't want my children going downstairs to those bathrooms.
Well, someday maybe we'll get that building replaced. I know you wouldn't approve of that, but
Thank you. Thank you for letting me bring it up at this time, because I was gonna bring it up later. But as long as I've brought that up, I do have a very important subject to bring up, but as long as you're here, I think this might have something to do with you, and maybe not. But when you go downtown and you see bloody, gutty animals on the road there for days, which I see all the time everywhere, and I saw one for like 2 weeks down on the end of Albion and North Avenue, no one ever picks them up. And I have gotten phone calls now in the past few weeks telling me, what is the job of our animal control officer? In other towns, I understand if there's something like that in the road, the animal control officer has bags or boxes, picks it up and throws it in the trash. When they call him, he tells them, it's not my job, call the DPW. Is that your job, Rick?
No. The only time we've ever picked up dead animals is when there's a deer, because obviously that can't be handled by an individual. You need a front end loader for that. Because a lot of times with dead animals, even though they look dead, especially when they're on the side of the road, they're not dead.
Well, these
And you're liable to get.
These
If
animals
you don't know
are
what
dead.
you're doing,
They're dead.
if
They're
you're not-
bloody dead.
You'd be surprised. If you're not trained, you're liable to get, you could get bitten. Because they could be laying there and they're not dead.
Steve,
But-
sounds like there's a gap in somebody's.
I gotta
Yes,
say.
we can work on that, Phyllis. I agree with you.
thank you, okay.
We've
You're
all,
right.
we do deers because they're so large.
I understand why, listen, if there's a dead animal in my yard, or a dead mouse or something, I pick it up and throw it in the trash.
You also have to have a place to bury them, and I don't even know.
You're gonna
what
bury blood?
you do. No, you have to have a place for
Blood and guts?
it to go. So,
Okay.
thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
I got those two things off.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Good night.
Next matter, can I get a motion to schedule a public hearing for Oys Inc., 963 Main Street for April 28, 2014, at 7:40 PM regarding all alcohol beverage license?
So moved.
Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Comments? Tom?
Just one thing, as you know, there is a 40B project on Audubon Road, and this board has previously given its blessing to it, and we need a certificate of vote of the Board of Selectmen authorizing Mr. Mayo to sign a regulatory agreement on behalf of the town. This is a purely ministerial thing. The Department of Housing and Community Development needs to have a vote of the highest authority in town authorizing the signatory. So I'm going to pass up the certificate of vote. I'd appreciate it if you would so vote and sign.
So motion to approve the certificate of vote as presented by Tom Mullen. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Paul.
Second.
Second by Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
That's it,
Anything else,
thanks.
Tom? Steve?
Just a couple of very quick things, Mr. Chairman. Number one, I do want to congratulate Selectman Falvey, who's not, can't be here this evening, for a fabulously informative and well-run forum on Monday night. And I also want to thank my department heads who came out to answer any questions that were there. And I think that the community was well-served, and I personally think everything was answered at that at that forum, and Selectman Falvey deserves a lot of credit. I also want to congratulate Selectman Denoco for a very enjoyable Sunday morning with the Jest Fest, and with Betsy Sharon co-hosting with Gerard Lehman. At least, it was really a fun event, and I think that that's only going to get bigger and better. And Paul, it was a great day, and your committee did a great job as you did, so thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Phyllis?
Okay. To me, this is very important, especially to the fact that we've added some new poll workers. You know, most of our poll workers are senior citizens. They're, and they do a great job for minimal pay. And, you know, they stay in the area all day long. And, you know, this is not the first time that this complaint has been brought to my attention. When they work in an area or one of the poll places, especially the one that I'm gonna be talking about tonight, the Crystal Community Club, these people should be made comfortable. There should be no reason for them to have to sit there with their coats on or with jackets on in order to keep warm. Now, they have approached management in this area, down at the Crystal Community Club, and have asked to have heat, and they're ignored. They're not only ignored, they're talked down to, which is not good. And what's even worse is when an elected town official goes down to the club and asks for more heat in order to keep these people warm, and is sort of like insulted and ignored. And to me, it's just terrible that we have to put up with this. And I even, I even know that we have even asked our town administrator to go down there to turn up the heat, which they do very little. They don't do it. It's just something they do not want to do. They do not want to accommodate anybody in this area. So I'm here tonight to ask this board to support me in having our town administrator send a letter to the management down there. I think they have a board of directors, and telling them to accommodate us, to accommodate these people. There's no reason for senior citizens or people to have to put up with this, to have to sit in this kind of an area, where they're not warm. And to be rude to a town elected official. And I don't know how they were with you, but
They weren't happy to see me, let's put it that way.
yeah, it's not right. I mean, we go to every other club where they do polling, and we have asked them, to accommodate the seniors, to do things for them, because most of them are seniors, and everybody complies. They're more than willing to do this. And then I think it's a law that the warrant should be posted in all these polling places. Am I correct?
Yes.
They refuse to do it. They got new wallpaper. Who cares? Find a board to put it on and keep the warrant up so people can see it. And so, I just, I'm here. This is my job. I hope I'm the voice of the people that need me. And so I'm asking this board to allow Town Administrator Mayo to send them a letter telling them to take care of these people and to give them the heat that they need to keep them warm. How often it is? Only a couple of times a year. And then some comment was made that, well, we'll have to raise the rent or something. To me, it's ridiculous.
Steve, do we pay for those?
We do. We do rent them, yeah.
Well, I think that's a disgrace to have, that we pay rent to that location, and they don't turn the heat on for these poll workers that are there all day long, especially in the wintertime when we're having, a special election or whatever the case may be. So I would certainly authorize that. So I'd have a motion to authorize Steve to send a letter to the Crystal Community Club to address this issue.
So moved.
Or
Second.
any other complaints that we have where we're paying rent for this, so, moved by Pat, second by Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phyllis.
Thank you.
Ann?
Anything? Just two things briefly. I'd like to congratulate Ruth Clay, the director of our Board of Health. She was recently recognized by the Zonta Club of Malden, and I was actually contacted to make some comments. Their annual Women Making a Difference, that they honor people, women who have given their time and effort to enhance the community. It's a very big deal, and I think it's well-deserved by Ruth for everything she certainly does for Wakefield, Melrose, and Reading. And then secondly, just to echo what Steve said, I would certainly urge anyone who did not watch, who didn't come down on Monday evening to see the garage presentation, to watch what is being replayed on WCAT. I know it's being replayed tomorrow from 3:30 to 7 on channels 3 and 40. It's being replayed Friday, 3 to 6:30. Again, channels 3 to 40, that's PM. On Thursday, 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. On channels 13, 22, and 42. And Friday, am I right or wrong, Tom? Sorry.
You're partially right. Because of the demand,
Okay.
because of the demand for this show, we're running a loop, so it's going continuously.
You're fabulous. Okay.
So they
Perfect.
can watch it anytime they want.
So no one can say that we're not getting information out
It's on.
if they own a TV?
It's on
Okay.
And-
Perfect.
And if they own a computer, it is on our town website.
course.
And you can,
Nice.
Right, and I think that anyone who watches it will understand that the 99% of questions were answered thoughtfully, intelligently, and completely. So, well done. Thank you very much for that. All set.
Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few items. Steve mentioned the past Just Fest. It was a very well-received event. But I do have to ask, it's a little indulgence here, with all the acknowledgement of the individuals that were attending that day, I neglected to acknowledge my own committee. So I would like to, a few minutes, just a second or two, to acknowledge those who were there and instrumental to it. We'll start off with Susan Wetmore, Susan Majeski, Diane Mulcahy, Carol Hubbard, Paula Berg, Adam Pickney, Kathy Reynolds, Walter Schofield, our liaisons, Nancy Rollins, David Costa, and Lisa O'Neill for an outstanding job in pulling this off for us. Everyone that was in attendance had a fabulous time. I'll move on to Blossoms is coming quickly. It's a month away. I wish everyone here to support it and be in attendance. It's April 26th. It'll be from 7 to 11. And last, in her absence, the Interfaith Food Pantry. Let's not forget a little contribution to them and helping out to those who are in need. So with that, sir, I am done.
Thank you, Paul. Pat?
Yeah, I just want to echo Steve and Ann on a fabulous presentation Monday night. Selectman Falvey was very prepared, as was the entire board, the entire panel of experts. They, to me, displayed a lot of patience, very high degree of patience, and Tom Mullen, fabulous job moderating, as always. You have a future in moderation if you choose to go.
Some would say immoderation.
Everything in moderation except moderation. So I thought that was very informative. I've talked to quite a few citizens about this, and I was a little concerned a few weeks ago because I don't think all of the information was getting out there. I think that this was a very good way. I don't know what the best way is to get people informed, but we're doing everything we can, and that was a great thing. And my heart goes out to the families of the firefighters today in Boston whose lives were lost. And it was very nice to see some of the representatives of our fire department. Once again, I had relatives who were firefighters, and a long time ago, someone in my family was injured in a similar accident to what happened today, a long time ago. And time moves by, but the same risks are involved in that job. So I saw it in the marathon last year, and I saw it again today. It's, my hat's off to those people, and we can't pay them enough, so.
Thanks, Pat. I have just a couple of things. Just a reminder, this Saturday, there's a 5K road race called the Gator Gallop to raise funds for the Greenwood School PTO. I'm supporting this. I'm an actual sponsor of this event, so if anybody is available
running?
to come down. I'm not gonna I might like it. But hopefully, we can have a big turnout and raise some funds for the PTO. So I just want to throw that out there. I want to remind everybody to vote on April 1st. And I just want to remind everybody out there that the Board of Selectmen, and as chairman of the Board of Selectmen, we are unanimously supporting a yes vote on April 1st. There was a postcard mailed out for the opposition to the garage in downtown. I want you to just let everybody know, to take a close look at the facts that were presented in that postcard. I think they were distorted. I think they were misrepresented, and I think it's misleading. So if you have any questions, please call town offices, Steve Mayo, Brian Falvey, who has been the lead on this matter. So vote yes on April 1st. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Paul, second by Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you.